Welcome back to Ryse, son of complete bullshit. Seriously, we were not this savage, I swear.
Are you sure about that?
Well, actually, there's right now. Actually, there's from this point on in the game. Right now, the Romans are the ones going to be being painted in a negative light, considering the Britons were apparently about to make peace with the Romans, and yet Commodus fucked up everything.
Yeah,
so
he
technically, so right now the Romans are supposed to be the bad guys instead.
dude literally pulled a Prince Caspian out of nowhere.
It's like I don't even understand. At first, they're trying to. It's like okay. I guess they're trying to go for a moral ambiguity thing where you see the Romans are capable of bad things too. The problem is, it doesn't really come across like that because it just comes across as the plot completely switching gears on a dime for no real reason.
Like,
And
let's
also
look at
for having Marius having a dilemma of being fighting for his own country where he's not believing anymore in his patriotism, I guess.
Yes. That's okay too, because both him and Battalion will agree on stuff as well. So basically, well, you'll see at the end of this part anyway. So I'll wait.
It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like even before the Disney Vita and everything. It's kind of like every single Star Wars video game had you being in control either a rebel, but the few times you actually control an Imperial, it's someone who defects. You never actually get to actually be an Imperial during, unless you're essentially role-playing during a multiplayer match of a Battlefront game, of course.
Yeah.
Let's look at some of our plot structure means a way. So we start off with Marius' family getting outright killed by the Britons, apparently. So by all means, he should have every reason to hate them. What is weird is like, well, out of nowhere, we have Commodus who pretty much acts not only pompous, but incompetently. Like, let's think about it. What good would killing the leader of Britain have really done for him at all? Like, they were literally about to make peace.
Complete extermination, Jova. That's literally it. So that's the thing, Jova. A lot of emperors were actually that selfish and pompous to the point of transcending common sense. Caligula, anyone?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I can get that, but in the context of this one, though, I get killing the British leader, but maybe doing it when it's in a more discreet way, like not in front of every single one of them.
Like I said, the violation of common sense. Mind you, this is still a fictional take on Rome because a lot of things are out of order, even in terms of generations of the emperors and everything. But the idea behind the fact that the higher-ups were a bunch of idiots. Yeah, that's pretty much taken. I mean, mind you, the fall of the Roman Empire was a combination of things. Yes, bureaucracy was an important fact, and not managing a vast territory was another. But the incompetence of the last couple of leaders was also a big factor into it, which goes to show that if instead the Eastern Roman Empire, the one with Constantinople as the capital, endured for over 1,000 years after the fall of the original Roman Empire.
For as much as an oxymoron as it may sound like, though, am I the only one who thinks that maybe there could have been a smarter way to show the idiocy of the higher-ups here? Like, again, I don't know, maybe I'm not that big a history buff in stuff involving Italy and Rome, but I don't know, I feel like there could have been a more shrewd way to show off the idiocy. Again, I mean, it feels like there's getting too big for your britches, and then there's just being an idiot. Like, I mean, maybe it was like that in history, but killing the guy in front of his own people just like that after you have established a very flimsy amount of
don't mind me.
what the hell?
Not to what Jova said. Not to mention, this is a pastiche anyway, so it's not like we're already expecting this. Not to mention, it's a story. It's not a documentary. We can forgive a minor little inaccuracy.
Honestly, yeah, but this is connected to what I was saying, I think, in the previous part, the fact that the game, and I think you were saying too, Per, the fact that the game cannot reach a decent middle ground between historical authenticity and just fictional setting.
I was actually the one who pointed that out.
Appeals to both, and don't exceed in evil.
No, yeah.
Yeah, again, it's like I say, talk as much as you want about historical accuracy, but the game kind of threw that out the window. Like, again, in something like Assassin's Creed, they know how to play the line pretty much straight. Except for something like Assassin's Creed Unity, which a lot of people critiqued for kind of favoring the royal side of the French. Gee, I wonder why.
This is also gets to be reflected in the gameplay, because gameplay-wise, Marius, aside from the more arcade, like the fact that you gain health by killing enemies using, that focus, using those mechanics. For a fighting style, Marius is pretty much realistic. Yes, there is the fact that he has unlimited stamina to perform these complex action, like, say any video game character, but it's pretty much, grounded. He flashy moves, he doesn't like enchanted his sword in fire or some shit like that, or he doesn't do like a spinning twirl or stuff like that. No, he's pretty much basic in terms like that, which makes me believe it was more capped for some of these sequences.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was. The only real major success of this game is the presentation aspect.
Yeah.
Like the graphics are still really beautiful. The music is good, not great, but good. And the direction, the overall direction of the visual direction in general, not just the cutscenes, even the gameplay, like it looks really good. The only real issue is that for as good as the battle animations are, like these ones we're seeing right now, there's only so many times we can watch them before we get sick of watching them.
What was the
Again,
overall
the repetitiveness is
reception?
unfortunately a big plague of this.
What was the overall reception of this game when it, came
Mixed,
out?
it got a 60 at Metacritic, so basically so basically the general consensus is it's an average to bad game, basically, that some people at the very least gave it some props for the presentation, the people were all like, the people just said it was terrible and just, but yeah, the basic consensus was it's average to bad.
But in general, not really in a sense of sales, but even in general in terms of people speaking word of mouth, the game pretty much passed by. It just got released and then passed by. People were more interested at this point to Killer Instinct.
Let me see the sales.
It's weird how nowadays, well, okay, maybe not as much nowadays, but there was a point where I definitely recall there was apparently a lot of clamoring or wishes for a sequel in some regard. Granted, that time maybe has probably come and passed, but I do wonder what was the source of that.
At this point, it's too late. Remember, Jova, that's like I've said, the Crytek wanted to make it, but the ball was on Microsoft's court. Problem is, in order to fund the sequel, Microsoft wanted to own the IP, and Crytek wasn't having any of that. So you can probably guess where things went from that.
So there was this much drama.
By the fact that the IP was created in the first was in mind. Not by the fact that other companies like Nintendo and Sony just created the IP, has the studio create their IP, but they retain the ownership no matter what.
That's actually easy to explain too. Remember, this game came out in 2013 and was announced back in 2010, which means that this game was actually greenlit by Don Matrick. So my guess is when Don Matrick signed the contract with them, he originally thought, okay, fine, you guys go ahead and make this, and we'll let you own the IP, despite us publishing it. Remember, Sunset Overdrive was the same thing, even though Microsoft owned the publishing rights for the first game, Insomniac owns the Sunset Overdrive IP. However, by the time the talks about sequels came about, Don Matrick had been fired and Phil Spencer was promoted to the head of Xbox. My guess is Phil Spencer thinks differently, and he wants to actually own. Remember, Scalebound was only announced in 2014, Teo.
Scalebound.
And that's why Platinum cannot take the game somewhere else, because the game is now owned by Microsoft, which means it's forever dead.
Damn it.
Unless Microsoft do the unthinkable and share it with Nintendo, like a lot of people are hoping for.
No, that's the thing, Joe. Kamiya's original vision was a big, large-scale open-world AAA game, and I seriously doubt Microsoft is willing to pay the money for it.
Not just that. Even so, I'm considering the behavior of Kamiya and the others at Platinum. I'm confident that at this point we just moved on.
They have gotten a lot of other stuff to work on.
Remember, Kamiya wasn't at all kind when talking about Microsoft afterwards. So I'm pretty sure
knowing Kamiya is pretty bad.
I'm pretty sure Kamiya doesn't want ever to have anything to do with Microsoft ever again.
Gee, a Japanese studio having a falling out with...
Unless some of the games are multi-plat, in which case it's either up to the publisher or in general the behavior. Like for example, well, no, to be fair, if I recall correctly, didn't the Nier Automata came on the Xbox of the Xbox One a bit later compared to the with the Become as Gods edition? So it didn't came at launch similar to the PS4. So, but yeah, it was still up to Square Enix for that.
Well, gee, stop me if you heard this before, guys. A Japanese studio having a falling out with Microsoft this generation, or any past generation.
Other examples include Level 5, Mistwalker.
The last sorry,
the Tails studio, because
wait, even Tails? Dang.
Remember, Vesperia was an Xbox 360 exclusive originally.
In the West, because basically, remember, Microsoft was trying to go all out and trying to convince Japanese gamers to buy the Xbox 360, so they bought the exclusivity to a lot of JRPGs, and they bought the Western the Western exclusive rights for Tales of Vesperia. So the game released on PS3 in Japan, but the West.
Actually, I bought with the PS3 the definitive edition that came after the initial launch.
It did after but it was only like a year later too. It wasn't that far. My guess is originally it was supposed to be. My guess is in Japan it was just a timed exclusive, because my guess is too. Namco was not at all planning on. Oh no, there's no way we're releasing this in Japan. Remember too, this was before Baba convinced Suits that Tales was viable in the West.
Yeah.
So, I just want to point out a bit of a weird thing. So, these Britons who have been shown as barbarians, aren't they technically the ones who constructed this whole city that's theirs? Just saying that the architecture kind of contradicts what they're wearing and how they act.
Actually, I think this is like a Roman outpost. Remember... no, actually, no. That depends.
Because this whole thing's been presented as a place that we've been infiltrating.
You're right, because at the first with the whole ship section, it was the first technical invasion of the island.
So I ask, if these people are so barbaric, why is it that the technology they have seems to
no, Pedro, I'm checking here. The Xbox 360 version of Tales of Vesperia was the first to be released, August 7, 2008.
Well, that's what I was saying to you. My guess is it was meant to be a timed exclusive, because remember, my guess is too, Microsoft managed to snag the exclusive publishing rights for the Western release exclusively, until the definitive edition release. However, or was it this year? Well, whatever. The point is, however, for the Japanese publishing, this is that Namco probably thought, no, there's no way we're not gonna release a PS3 version in Japan.
And I guess they took that exclusive.
You'll take timed exclusivity, and that's it. That's the best.
more like thanks for beta testing, considering that what released on the PS3 was the complete edition, the one we got this January 2019. So,
hey, same with
which
Eternal
included the new
Sonata.
character, setting a new dungeon, and rebalancing in general.
Same with Eternal Sonata, kind of ended up being a tested beta.
Yeah, Namco Bandai, well, in general, Namco Bandai was having that kind of kick for a while.
Marius.
On, well, hold on, let me
sorry.
Might as well check it.
Get some respite.
1.4.
And then he stabbed him in the back.
No, come on, dude.
They've got the booming thunder and lightning for the scene.
Almost 1 million, so... Okay, basically, combining both the PC and the Xbox One versions, this game sold 1.57 million units.
No,
approximately. Which
definitely not a AAA.
Oh dear.
And considering this game, like Theo just said, was looking at this game, you can clearly tell it cost a lot of money to make.
I'm sorry, could you repeat how much did it sell?
Combining both, keep in mind this is only an estimation based on, we don't have exact figures. Remember, Microsoft stopped announcing their sales figures officially, so we have to go with, I have to go with whatever is available to me.
All right.
Combining both PC and Xbox One versions, 1.57.
Ooh.
Approximately.
Ooh.
Basically $1.5 million. Just go with, for the sake of rounding it up, 1 million, around $1.5 million.
And that's up to present day, right? So that means
yes, up to present day, yes.
that's a
Well, it's a-
pretty bad sales rate.
Well, at least it's sold a lot more than Quantum Break.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Quantum Break.
Actually, I was wondering.
Quantum Break didn't even reach 1 million.
I actually was wondering. Well, I'm more considering which of the two looks better for a for an Xbox.
This one,
or-
no, like you yourself said, Teo, the Vaseline
There's a lot of
effect.
blur. Yeah, there's a lot of Vaseline and blur effect, but it was in terms of actual character model.
And keep
I
in mind,
do
this
wonder.
game, and keep in mind, Quantum Break came out 3 years late, so it doesn't even really have any excuse. Like, Crytek was able to pull, in my opinion, a much more visually appealing game than Remedy did. I have no idea what the fuck happened with Quantum Break.
Different engine. Remember, Crytek is using their own custom-made one. Though I don't know what was the one that Remedy used.
True, but remember, Control is also using the Northern Lights engine, and that game looks fine.
Huh.
So, I really do not understand. It's baffling, to say the least.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. This level really drags. Like, I mean,
It does.
okay. The story purpose is for us to lock down Control after Commodus screwed things up. But at some
Oh,
point,
shit.
you have to wonder: is this what the narrative's coming to? Like, well, at this point, we know what's going to be Marius's next goal. So for people who are in it for the narrative, they're probably thinking, why aren't we just getting to the part where he starts to wreak vengeance? Seeing as how at this point it just feels like blatant padding.
It's two things. First one, my guess is they thought of the levels first and the story, and then worked on when it would fit those levels. Second, my guess is the thought of the developers was we're reaching the we're at the final third of the
Oh
game.
my god, there were 3 of the fat guys literally
And
side
you
by
lost.
side by side.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll succeed next. Well, actually, did I?
Did you?
Oh,
Oh,
shit!
yeah, I did. That was a very awkward game over.
You clipped into
By
one of the
clipping
fat
into the
guys.
oversoul.
That was a very awkward game over screen, but whatever.
Sorry, go back on.
My guess is the developers thought that since we're in the final third of the game, they thought they needed to ramp up the stuff and bigger levels, bigger battles, and all that shit.
Again, it's what they pointed out, I think, a couple of parts ago. This game concept of difficulties to throw a gajillion special enemies at the same time at you. Sorry, at you.
I'm actually curious how much Sunset Overdrive sold. Now, let me see.
Sunset Overdrive. That was an actually pretty good exclusive.
AKA the best game on the Xbox One.
And even nowadays, it's no longer an Xbox One exclusive, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
No, it's on PC.
I find it more, like I said, I find it more laughable the fact that Microsoft, for a lot of these Xbox One ports, doesn't even bother having the publishing rights, even if they retake in some case the IPs. Because, for example, for Sunset Overdrive, and I think another couple of ones, it's THQ Nordic, one who gets the publishing right.
The PC version of Quantum Break was also published by THQ Nordic.
Which is for the better for them, because it's essentially real free estate money for them.
Hey, let's not forget how Microsoft are actually allowing some of their own games to come to other platforms too.
I mean,
Actually, I wonder.
Are we going to see Quantum Break on Nintendo Switch?
Totally. Well, I actually wonder how much the new Super Lucky Tale sold.
Sunset Overdrive only sold 1.16 million units on the Xbox One. I can't find any PC. I can't find any PC numbers.
I'm gonna guess that probably has to do with people not really caring for the system itself.
Well, yeah. Remember, this game came out in 2014, and people were still a bit, angry at Microsoft because of that SCWRM controversy. By the time Quantum Break came out, remember, in 2016, by 2016 on the PS4 we already had Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, and other and lots of great indie...
even just the oh, hold on.
Oh, cutscene. Oh no!
Shit!
When that happened in the first Uncharted, I was actually forced to use a button prompt to dodge with timing instead of just watching a cutscene.
You're literally asking for the game to give you QTs.
Well, it would be better than just watching a cutscene. Anyway, import. There you go. See? There you go. See? There you go. But once again, showing the.
Wait for it.
Bros before holes.
See, here my issue is again, Vitalian finishing Marius' training was done off screen, told by us, by him. So I don't really feel the bond between those two. Really, we're just told that they're buddies. We're
Oh
never
my
actually-
god, we're
his
continuing
literary
this
introduction-
level.
Not just that, his introduction was literally Terminator, like, come with me if you want to, like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Okay, the
But
kind
no,
of
what I was
bond they're
saying
trying to
that,
tell.
what that cutscene was missing with the with the monument holding on to you wasn't so much Battle Prompt and maybe two, but was the fact of Marius' reaction to it. He does a very awkward dodge to it. Like, if he wanted to keep it, also that guy frozen place. If he wanted to keep the video game angle, he would have probably done like something like an epic flip or something. I don't know.
Okay, also, that animation of him cutting off a guy's arm, yeah, it's officially at that point where it's gotten old for me.
Okay. Oh, hold on. There you go. Red Rising 3 was
That
the best
Rising
selling.
3.
That
But
Rising
it's
3
first party.
Well, that's the thing too. It is an Xbox One
Oh,
exclusive.
I know, but Microsoft gained not that much from me because again, Capcom first party. And
True.
everything.
Regardless, it's the best selling of their launch games with 2.7 million units.
Yeah, wait, are you sure that's not Dead Rising 4 you're talking about? I'm pretty sure...
No,
No, I'm talking-
remember,
I'm talking
I
about
think
free.
you asked for already,
you're right.
but 3 was the only one that stayed exclusive for a long time. 4 already, when it was announced, was already multi-platform.
Oh, so wait,
me
Dead
see
Rising
how
3
much-
was on the
let-
Xbox One though? I thought that was like a previous gen.
My guess is Microsoft bought the rights to exclusive, so they could have
No,
a launch
it's
game
a
for it.
sort
Kinda
of
like how Nintendo-
it's a sort of homaging because the first Dead Rising has remained Xbox 360 exclusive for a long time. Yes, it got technically a Wii port, but it was really half-assed. But 3 was sort of like a spiritually successor to that because it stayed Xbox
Hey,
One exclusive for a long time.
Hey, question: how was the reaction to Red Dead Rising 3?
Bad, pretty much.
that
aside from
explains
the,
it because Red Rising
aside,
4.
aside from the first game, all the other ones were not developed internally by Capcom, but by their Vancouver studio, which was specifically designed to do them, and they failed after failure to the point that after the release of 4, they were closed down. And honestly, as much as I usually try to be more defender towards Capcom, this is one decision on which I actually agree with, because they only produced, unfortunately, bad games.
Oh, yeah.
Dead Rising 2 was the best of them, but it's not saying much.
Yeah, I can definitely believe that too, because from what I'm seeing here, Dead Rising 3 sold 2.7 million units. However, 4 just barely reached a million.
Oh!
That's a massive drop.
Oh,
I've got a very interesting tale to tell you about
And there
4.
was the fact that they didn't call back DJ Rotolo to voice Frank West for no reason, mind you, to the point where Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was able to recast it, but not the Capcom Vancouver for the official sequel to Dead Rising.
Not only that,
Weird.
Dead Rising
Oh,
4
cutscene.
has a... Oh, cutscene.
Oh, Marius.
The rest of this game is nothing.
And now
but cutscenes.
Marius is abandoned.
Sorry, this
The
part.
rest of
Sorry,
the game.
this part. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God! How many Britons are there?
And Marius died.
That's the thing too. This is where the writers just completely give up on making sense, as you're about to see.
Oh, joy.
So basically, he failed. Don't realize he could have failed any of the sections beforehand.
Hold on, Teo.
Okay, who the fuck are you?
He's
Hold on, Teo.
that
We'll
guy.
know. We'll figure out who this guy is, and let's just say the payoff is lame and really.
Oh.
I am the goddess of whatever.
I am the goddess of exposed
You know,
cleavage.
Also, fix your hair.
That's the thing. Remember, her nipples are not showing. So, okay, if you're trying to be a god of war killer, have the balls to show nudity.
Oh, but
She
she
drops
drops
the
the
dagger.
knife into the water.
Now that's annoying.
Remember, that's Damocles' dagger.
Yeah.
A revered leader in a vast
You know what this means, right, Teo?
Yeah. Marius becomes Damocles.
Not quite.
Actually, Joe, Teo got it right. Yes.
Wait.
No, don't worry. The game will tell you in a moment anyway.
That's the thing. They're treating it as if it's a legend more than anything. So take the mantle.
Also, yeah, totally called it. That goddess is
Face.
nemesis.
What was that face?
I don't know. That was his being screwed in the ass face. I don't know.
So there you go. Essentially, Damocles is now in the body of his son.
Marius rises from his grave.
As Damocles, apparently.
It's kind of funny considering the original Third Beast was set in Roman times.
Now, okay, so again, I just have one question. What did Marius mean when he said that his family was killed by barbarians? And
that's the thing, Joe. Hold on, we're about to get that.
okay.
And now it's
God,
personal.
that blank stare.
All right, so back to present time.
Oh yeah.
You know.
After the loading time, the screen.
Yeah,
Here,
I
thank you.
can picture it now. While he's still
To protect me from Damocles. But you are Damocles.
I guess he read the script and he was laughing at it.
You are Damocles.
Indeed I am. And my story is almost at an
I know, right? Almost 3 parts left.
Sir, the barbarians are whacking at our door.
About
Marius,
that, Ribs.
Marius, if you're so intent on killing Nero for revenge, then why did you bother telling him all of this
More
for
like,
hours?
why are you doing this chasing thing and not just throw your sword at him?
Exactly.
He's a fat bastard. He's an easy target.
Again, this is the part where the writers should have thought, you know what, let's drop the whole story
Oh my
as a
god, we're
flashback thing.
continuing this turnaround.
Oh my God, he's still gonna
is
tell
like
more of his
5 years- this is
backstory.
Yes, now keep walking while I tell the
He
rest of my
still is
story.
gonna
Oh my
tell
God,
more of
you're
his
serious.
backstory.
By the time he's finished, he's gonna be dizzy from all that walking around.
Wow! Oh
The
my
evil
God!
infected the city?
Running back to. Look, Marius, okay, just kill me already. You don't need to do this,
In
okay?
case you haven't realized, I'm not
sorry, I need
Marius.
to tell you the rest of my story.
But
It may
why,
be my
though?
last, because it may be your last chance.
But
Also,
why? You
excuse
literally
me-
just told me
Wait.
that you're gonna kill me.
Also, excuse me, what's this evil that has spread from Britain to Rome?
Basically, according to the game, Rome has become full of evil, and we need
Because
to...
of Britain? Because it was present in... I'm sorry, Dweebs, you're a carrier of a disease, apparently.
But what, the Black Plague, or...
I
No,
guess.
when we get to Plague Tale, we'll talk about that. This doesn't have to do with the Black Plague.
French.
That's why I said, don't worry, dude. Save that for Plague Tale.
Alright then, so we'll see how the story goes.
So yeah, this kind of begs the question: if your plan, Marius, is to kill Nero, why did you even? Again, you see what I mean?
Oh, but
The
did you
whole
see,
telling
guys? Marius
Not
is no
just
longer
that-
Marius. He's now
Okay, well-
Damocles. So clearly his father went senile.
I could get the whole, I want to tell you my story until the point where I tell you I am Damocles for dramatic effect and to make you scared shit of me. But why is he continuing now? What's left to tell?
Okay, yeah. To us, a point, it's like, okay. Honestly, am I the one who thinks that making Damocles Marius is kind of pointless? Like, if anything, just have it be the typical, I'm trying to avenge my father for this, but no, now apparently we're turning this into Damocles wanting vengeance, even though we had Marius literally point out that it was barbarians that killed his father, yet as the audience, we don't really know what he's talking about, but Marius is technically dead now and it's Damocles talking to us, so what's even the point? Like, if they really wanted to have this all build up to Marius being Damocles, it should have been the last cutscene before he kills Nero, but no. There's apparently more to the story to tell beyond the fact that someone was risen from the dead just to get to him.
It's again. This is the point where the developer should have, the writers should have realized. You know what? Let's drop the whole tell the story in a flashback thing. It's not working. Like it's completely at odds. It's completely at odds. Like at least like I said, at least in Quantum Break, it made sense because God, I forgot the main character's name.
Jack.
It's so bland. Jack. Yeah. In in Quantum Break it worked because Jack was being interrogated by Monarch. You know,
He
about
was forced to tell his story.
so it made sense there. In here, like I said, I guess his name is Damocles now. Damocles has absolutely no reason for. Okay, fine. I'll grant Teo's thesis that he really wanted the satisfaction of seeing him scared shitless. Okay, fine. I'll roll. I still don't I still think it's useless, but whatever. But I guess I'll take it. But like Jovia said, from this point on, it loses whatever little sense it had.
Yeah, like, you kind of gave us your big plot twist. Like, even if there was some other plot twist at this point, you kind of blew your load with the whole Damocles is Marius thing.
There is no other plot twist. Right now, Jova is just one big battle to kill all the Romans that.
I mean, I guess we need to learn who that guy in the cult is. I guess.
We also need to know what the heck Marius was talking about when he said he figured out that barbarians were the actual murderers of his family.
That's the thing too. I find the reveal of who that semi-naked chick and the white-haired guy are to be kind of insulting, because let's just say it makes this whole game, this whole entire story, nothing but pointless bickering.
Even more than it already is.
Yes, but I'll get to it when we get to it.
It's
all right, see ya, I guess.
See ya.
See ya then.